First of all, the family of Yefim Flekel, they thank you very much for being here and supporting them during this most difficult of times. I never had a chance really to know Yefim. That's something that I will rely on family and friends to tell you more of his life. I only know just a small amount from him, from having spoken with his daughter and his wife. I can understand their feeling, their sorrow, because it speaks volumes about how much they cared for him and what a wonderful person he was. And in your memory, he still is. And that is a lesson that we take away, that as long as we remember someone, they live in our lives because we remember them. Just a moment ago, I had the family tear a ribbon, and that's just a sign to others, and it reinforces to them of someone being torn away from them, the tearing of their heart. And while nothing that we do can replace someone in our hearts, we do have to learn to continue without them. And everything that you do for the rest of your lives, and even as friends, everything you do is part of the lessons that you learned from Yefim. And that keeping those lessons and doing things in some way influenced by what he taught you and what you experienced with him is how we keep someone alive. I have set the eternal always before me. God is at my side. I shall not be moved. Therefore does my heart exult and my soul rejoice. My being is secure, for you will not abandon me in death, nor let your faithful ones see destruction. You show me the path of life. Your presence brings fullness of joy. Enduring happiness is your gift. Death has taken our beloved Yefim Flekel. Our friends grieved in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, God, be with them, for Yefim's love that reunited us in life, and which death cannot sever, for his companionship that we shared life's joy, which continues through the tenderness of mercy, for the gifts of his heart and the mind that brought us joy and happiness is now a precious remembrance. For all these and more, we give thanks to God. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. For everything there is a season, a time for every experience under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak. The words that I have, I am sure, are totally inadequate for me to explain or to tell you why someone is taken away. The only things that I can tell you is that in time you learn to deal with the loss There's no one to make you get over it. There is no getting over a loss. There is no way for you to heal because you never heal. But you do learn to deal with the pain, and it becomes a part of you, and it influences your everyday life. You will, of course, have joys again, and unfortunately, perhaps again more sorrows. But this is the path of life, and for every sorrow, we hope there is a great joy, because without one, there cannot be the other. At this time, I'll ask members of the family who wish to speak and say a few words to tell more about Yefim, his life, and the love that he shared from his family. Thank
you. It's very, very hard to say something on this occasion. And honest to God, I don't know which languages will be more preferable, English and Russian. I will start in English, probably. It's tragic day for our family. It's very, very tragic day for Helen and Lana, who 99% people who sitting in this room know Yefim from many, many years. And everybody can say only one, that he was very dedicated father. He was excellent husband. He was extremely, extremely good worker. And that's why people from every place where he was working, what he was doing, everybody was appreciate what he can do. In our family, he was like local Google. When you have any question about birthday or somebody's wedding or something like this, you always ask Yefim. In 2-3 seconds, he give answer. It's right or it's wrong, but in his eyes, it always was right. Honestly, I don't know what else I can tell you about Yefim. I know that it was one of the best person what I knew in this world. I know when I or my family need any help, he was always with open arm. And I wish what he will good, what he will pray for us, for everybody here, and let him rest in peace. Sorry.
I had been told there may be others who wish to speak. If they were prepared, they can come up. Doesn't have to be prepared speech, just something maybe you wish to say.
I didn't know if I'm gonna speak or not because I'm getting accustomed to it already. Because first it was mom, one dad, one Sasha, now Fimo, and this is why it's very hard. What I can tell I know him a little bit more than my husband does because he came to our family as the first son-in-law, and he was, compared to others, he was very educated. He liked to read a lot. He liked to play chess. He was very smart, and he likes to argue. I hope he's not going to argue with God when he's going to be there. Argue in a good way. He always was a big thinker, and thinking, the way he says it or whatever he does, this is the right way. He was very dedicated to my sister, and this is why obviously it's going to be very hard for her because it's a part of her. He was dedicated to his children too, and he tried his best. Not everything in life goes the way you want it to be, but he tried. He was a very hard worker, and what hurts, what he even didn't spend one day being at home just to enjoy. He was working and working and working hard to the last day. People with who he worked, I heard so many good things about him because he was a hard worker and a very good worker. Okay, so just whoever knew him, I think what they have to have good memory about him, about his smile, about his crazy dancing, just a little bit of the way he was, okay, and let him rest in peace, okay.
To many of you, there doesn't seem to be a way to explain what this feels like. And I submit to you that losing someone that you care about so much, it's as if that one morning when you wake up, when you get up and put your feet on the side of the bed and you look down, all of a sudden there is now a hole in the floor in front of you. That is the place where Yefim used to stand. And now there is this hole that seemingly has no bottom. And it's difficult to walk around the edge of the hole. You can tiptoe to the right, tiptoe to the left, but there is nothing you can put over or put into this hole that's going to fill it. It's always going to be there. But every day that you wake up and get out of bed, you find you know where the edges of that hole are. And soon, not too soon, but soon, you find that you can navigate the edge going left or right almost with your eyes closed. You know where it is and you can work around it. And perhaps on a really good day, if you were feeling really good, you could jump right across it. But that's not to say you can't stop and turn around and look at the edge of this hole and look in and think about Yefim anytime you want and realize that where he stood, there is still this emptiness, that hole. This is like the hole in your heart that's never going to go away, and there's nothing anyone can give you or tell you that's going to fill the hole. But every day, you learn how to work and walk and live your life with this hole. It becomes a part of you, and it becomes a part of the way you think, and that means that because you've experienced this hole and you still have it, when you find someone else who has a hole just like yours, similar but different, you know how to talk to them too. Again, there's nothing you can tell them that's going to fill the hole or make it better, but just maybe a hug or a handshake or a kiss on the cheek. Maybe that's all you can offer, but sometimes that can be enough. In the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys that we yearn to share, we remember them. So as long as we live, they too shall live, for they now are a part of us as we remember them. I'm going to recite now the memorial prayer, which is a traditional prayer that we say when we remember someone who is gone. And I'll repeat it again at the cemetery, just before we will say Kaddish again. El mole rachamim, sholchein b'mromim, hamatzei menucha unachatan. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in the sheltering presence of your wings to Yefim Flekel, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let him find refuge in your eternal presence. Let his soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. God is his inheritance, and may he rest forevermore in peace. And let us say together, Amen. We will continue this service at Zion Memorial Park. In just a moment, we're going to prepare to go to the cemetery. Those of you driving with us, I will remind you, you do need to turn on your headlights. It's daytime and they won't go on by themselves. If there are any here who will act as pallbearers and will help us carry the casket, if they would come forward at this time, thank you.